Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bonus NASS episode. I am your host for this episode, Jose.
I am your other guy, George.
And I'm your girl, Marie.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, yeah, bang, 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 bang. Now, today we will be covering Alien Earth. They came out recently. So far, there's 3 episodes left. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to cover those first 3 episodes. Now, not as a bonus, but a part of Marie's show, we did kind of do a preview for Alien Earth, which you can find on our channel. So make sure to check that out. You can get Marie and my thoughts prior to the show coming out and kind of how we felt going into it. With that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it.
Through the years of cinema, we've laughed, we've screamed, we've cried. Forever asking the question,
What the hell does that mean?
well, no longer do you have to sit there in wonderment attempting to figure out what your cinephile friend is going on about with terms like cinematography, ADR, or Dutch angles. Thanks to the good people over at Cinematicalism, they've done the impossible and compiled a 500-plus page book filled with on-set jargon and filmmaking terminology, all broken down and digestible for all levels of film fans, from the leisured moviegoer to tenured filmmaking pros. What is the book? I'm getting to it. It's the Comprehensive Dictionary of Cinema, filled with 1,500 terms culminating across 9 sections. Enjoy the language of cinema, from industry slang to academic theory, visual tropes to cultural movements, all curated by filmmaking professionals who have over 20 years of experience working in the industry. Where can we get it? Back it now on Kickstarter. Click our link below to be part of the many backers who have made the Comprehensive Dictionary of Cinema a project we love on Kickstarter. Hitting their goal within the first 15 minutes, now let's help them reach those stretch goals of a VCR player. Yes, you heard that right. With plenty of package bundles to choose from, there's no wrong way to support Cinematicalism. Again, click our link in the description and back the Comprehensive Dictionary of Cinema today. Coming soon this winter.
And my first question is strictly for you, George, and only you, George.
All right.
Since Marie and I did do a preview episode, any of our listeners can listen to that and kind of see where we were at mentally going into this show. So I'm asking you, George, what was your thought process coming into the show before watching episode 1?
I was very excited, honestly, for this show. I think upon hearing about its creation, I was definitely hesitant because I was like, I don't know if we can turn this into a TV show. But like, I saw Romulus, we've all talked about it, and I've overall very positive feelings about that movie. And you think about even like Prey and other projects that we've seen from like the Predator side of things. And like Hulu has been handling these franchises decently well, I'd like to say. Like, has it been perfect? No. But better than it has been, like with Prometheus and Covenant and all that other crap that we've seen. And then when I started seeing a trailer for it, I was like, okay, hold on. We might have something special here. Like, this actually looks like it could be Alien, which we haven't felt in a long time. So going into this, I was feeling more and more positive as we got further along.
No, that is true. I agree with you with what's been, you know, out of all the things I could have put in my bingo card, Predator and Alien being saved by Disney was not one of them. I will say that much. I am
Right?
heavily surprised. But just to, this franchise has been all over the place. We all know that. If you look at it as an entirety, we've gotten a little bit of everything from amazing to completely horrible and bad. So with that being said, just to give our listeners an idea of kind of where we are at with our tastes and preferences when it comes to the franchise, I want each of us to list our top 3 movies in the franchise in order. Because I think this will give the audience a good idea of kind of like out of the franchise, what have we liked, what has been the best for us. Marie, we'll start with you. What is your top 3 in order in the franchise?
It's the order part that is so difficult. I definitely have, because I definitely have my top three, but like,
You could do a 1A, 1B.
Uh,
That counts if you have two that are tied
okay,
or a 2A, 2B.
Just remember
it's just so
that
big.
B always follows A. So there will still
Yeah,
be a number one. So
yeah,
I'm trying to make it easier for her, George.
yeah. It's just so based on mood for me. And they all have my top three have extremely different moods. So my top so 1A would probably be Aliens, and 1B would be oh no, I can't do it. Probably be Alien Resurrection and then Alien.
Okay, didn't
Because
see that coming.
I would choose for rewatchability and stuff. I would put on Alien Resurrection maybe before Alien, just because Alien's such like a dark. You got to be in the mood for that dark, slow burn vibe. And sometimes I'm like, I want to put on something a little more. I don't know. People hate that movie. I don't know. It's just different to me. I really
Hey,
like it. I know a lot of people hate it. So maybe listeners would hear that opinion of mine right now and be like, I'm not going to trust anything this bitch says during the rest of the episode.
yeah.
And that's fine because everyone has their different tastes and feelings.
And this is good. This is the reason why I wanted to ask this question to kind of set that primer of kind of like our individual tastes and how we're going into the series, what we've already liked, and how that may influence what we're seeing in this series because of our preferences and our taste. What about you, George? What is your top three in order?
Well, I was going to ask earlier, does the Predator films apply to this, or is it just
If
strictly Alien?
no, I mean those are technically are within the universe. We haven't been told otherwise, so that should count.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to put them in there. I just want to know ahead of time. Uh,
Hmm.
for me, it's Alien number one, Aliens number two, and then it's hard because I'd want to put the same one you just had, Marie, for my number three. But I actually really like Romulus. Like the more I sit on that movie, the more it feels cohesive with the franchise. You know what I mean? Like it actually feels like it's a part of everything more than
Yeah.
the other. Because I feel like as you go along, like three, it's like I appreciate three for what it is. I don't crap on it as much as others because I feel like it did push some things along. But man, I think I might go Romulus as my three. And then shout out to the comic books because the comic books make everything really a lot better. Gotta say, Dark Horse.
Mm.
I would have to go. It's gonna be Aliens as my 1A,
Mm.
Alien as my 1B,
Mhm.
um, and then Romulus will have to be my third one in the line out of all of them. So those are my top three in order. So all our top three are a little bit different. George and I had a variation of the one and the two. Marie had the same one and two, but throw in the wild card as the third one. So we're all a little bit different. So good to know kind of going into this. So getting into the series itself, uh, let's start simple. What's everyone's thought on just the xenomorph so far and what we've seen from the xenomorph? Let's keep it simple there. George, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay. The design, good. The fact that it feels practical, but mixed in with the digital, not bad. I feel like it's killing people. That's great. You know, and the fact that they're also not, I don't need it to be highlighted in every scene. You know what I mean? I feel like the best way to capture the alien is minimally. That's what the best thing apart the first movie is that you're always left with your imagination wondering, like, where is this thing? What's it doing? So the fact that they do that, that's awesome. I feel like its motives are a little chaotic and they're not handling it that so well. I feel like there was a little bit more direction when you look at like Alien and Aliens specifically. And this one, I feel like they don't really know how to handle the actual xenomorph and what its like prime directive per se is. It's not just a mindless animal. Like it does have an idea of what it should be doing, what it has to do, because it's a part of a colony after all. So that part I feel like could be handled a little bit better. But the series isn't over yet. Who knows what will happen later on?
What about you, Marie? What are your thoughts on the xenomorph so far and what you've seen?
I agree with George. I'm loving the practical effects and I'm like, that's a dude or whatever in a suit. I'm like, I love seeing that. That's what was one of my main worries going into the series was how much of the xenomorph is going to be CG. Because you see how much they butchered that in Alien 3. Oh my goodness. But I'm really appreciating what the xenomorph looks like, practical, the person in the suit, love all that. I don't feel like it's by any means the main threat or the star or like, oh, I can't wait to see a xenomorph. Where is it? Like a threat really yet. It's killing people, sure, but it it doesn't feel like it's a horror element. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like an afterthought to me in the show. The xenomorph itself feels almost like an afterthought, or like this is a show about space and aliens with a xenomorph randomly thrown in. So I don't feel like it's given the respect in a way that it deserves yet. Especially with the reveal of it in the first episode, but I do like what I'm seeing of it physically when they show it.
Okay. I agree with the aesthetic, the look at it. I like that they, went practical with a lot of it. I was also wary about the over CGI. We were getting maybe Alien Covenant type
Too.
xenomorphs in there, so I'm glad they didn't go that route. So I like the look of it. I'm enjoying just how vicious it is. They've been able to show like how brutally efficient it is. So even though we were not directly seeing it, we see it enter a room. It wiped out an entire room within like seconds. So we've seen that brutality, just how efficient of a killing machine it can be. I've also liked that they, especially in the last episode, they show a little bit on the intelligence aspect. Bringing the brother in, using him as bait, waiting for others to kind of come over, not killing the brother right away because we know, especially with like the drone xenomorph, their ultimate goal is to try to kind of go and make more, so they don't always kill all the humans. So I like that aspect. They didn't kill the brother. Gonna use them. So it's showing the intelligence of the xenomorph in the last episode. So I am enjoying that aspect. I like what they're doing in the background with the xenomorph, especially in the first like couple of episodes. There were so many times where you just catch it off the corner of your eyes. There was so many times I had to pause. I'm like, what the hell was that? I had to like pause and like look, and you just see just a slight movement in the shadow, and it's like that guy. He's right there. He's right there, but not giving much attention to it. You see it. You see the statue playing, and then you turn back to the statue, and it's there. You see it in the
Mm.
rafters. I like that aspect of it because it made me feel that it was always around, even though it might not have been around. So I like the way they're handling in that aspect. I am curious to see going forward with what happened in the last episode, um, how they're gonna handle now, most likely multiple xenomorphs if we do get to that. So that's kind of what I feel like that. I feel it's a strength of the show so far with like the xenomorphs. But xenomorph is not the only thing that's in here. They're kind of making a bold move by giving attention to other alien species that are on here. What are you guys' feeling on the other species that we have seen so far?
Okay, like I'm just kind of like they're there. I'm not highly invested or like, well, what's that? Or what's that gonna do? Or that thing's creepy or anything yet. But again, it's only first three episodes. But there's some thing in the show. I don't want to jump ahead, but the whole feel of the show, they're lacking like nuance and tension. And it's just I just feel like there's nothing really making me curious about these aliens yet. And yeah, like, I guess there's like the cat scene and stuff, but which I didn't really like that scene anyway, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't have any feelings for the new aliens yet of any sort of kind. Really highly negative or anything like, ooh, cool. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about the aliens 'cause I'm like, all right, they're there. This drippy plant, this one with the pistol coming out of the thing and of the like the flower K eye thing, bug thing that crawls in. We get little snips here and there, but there's nothing really Not yet building. I don't know. Everything's kind of jumpy and is edited kind of odd for me, so I can't really form an opinion yet on these other aliens.
What about you, George?
I'm at a very mixed place myself with it, where like I think it's a good idea to add in other aliens, especially if, we've gone into other worlds within this whole franchise. The idea that there would be other creatures in other worlds, they've established even the very first Alien, I believe that they had discovered other planets and other life forms, like humanoid life forms. So why wouldn't there be other creatures? And then the fact that Utani Wayland would be testing other things, I think that's good. I don't mind it. The only thing that could be a negative about it is one, it takes away limelight from our main characters and the xenomorph itself, the alien that we truly care about. And then B, they don't actually give us enough time to appreciate what these aliens are and what they can do, or we're not getting to see enough of them. I personally feel like a better idea would have been to create more sizable creatures, that can be maybe impregnated with xenomorphs, so then we could see new hybrids of xenomorphs created. Because that's, for me, that's always been one of those cool aspects of the xenomorph, is the fact that it adopts the attributes of the thing that it impregnates. So that's how it evolves. That's how it gets stronger and better. So if we could have something like that, I think that would have been really awesome for the show. And they may have missed an opportunity there. Because as I mentioned, the comic books earlier, great thing about the comic books, you have like this, the Colonial Marine series and stuff like that, and you get to see like a gorilla xenomorph and freaking the part three, you see the dog xenomorph. Like you get to see these different xenomorphs and the different things that they can do. And I feel like that's something that's really cool that we're not going to have in this. Or maybe we will. Again, show's not over yet. They're going to be on an island. There's probably animals there. We saw a lamb. Granted, a lamb xenomorph, I don't give a crap about. You're going to give me some wool acid. I don't know. But it's like, there could be cool shit that I'm missing out on right now.
Cool ass.
Full
Yeah.
acid.
They have me at a curious stage right now. I do agree we haven't seen enough of them. Really, the most we've seen from is the little eye creature. And
Fuck the eye creature.
see,
Yeah, I agree. I hate that eye creature.
I see. I
Uh,
actually enjoyed that scene. It kind of it gave me like the Thing vibes when that little cat is like kind of deformed and kind of crawling over and stuff. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool in there. But that's really like the most they've given us because one is just there hanging right now. We haven't seen what it's capable of. The tick one, I feel like we already saw what it can do. It doesn't seem very intimidating. And then there's one that has not been unleashed yet, so we don't know like what it does.
that giant
It,
beetle in the background, right?
yeah, the thing that's
Yeah.
inside of the container still. So I feel there's more. They have me at the curiosity stage at this point. The what we saw a little bit, I was like, okay, I want to see a little bit more, but they haven't shown a lot. So I agree there. I do want them to showcase. If you're gonna bring them in, might as well showcase them a little bit more. I feel the xenomorph is always going to steal the scene. So, like, I personally don't have a fear that's going to overshadow or take limelight away from the xenomorph because the xenomorph is always a xenomorph. It enters a scene, that's what you're paying attention to. It doesn't matter what else is in there, who else is in there. So, if you're going to bring them in, don't waste them. Give us a little bit more, make them pertinent. Put the characters in a situation where you're having to choose between going down the hallway where you think you saw the xenomorph or another creature that has you pinned down in another corner, and it's like, what gives me the best chance? Those little arguments that we have sometimes of like, hey, if you were facing this or this, which one do you think you have the best chance to survive? You could create that here. Where it was like, all right, are you gonna go with this and this? Can that eye creature affect the xenomorph? Like,
Mhm.
can that go and plop into the eye of the xenomorph and control the xenomorph? Like, there's so much room there that you can toy with. Don't waste it. That's my thought on the species. Right now, they're really slow paying the creatures themselves. We covered the xenomorph, we covered the creatures. Let's move on to the human, non-human uh, characters, kind of mixing them together. What are your overall thoughts on the other characters, both human, synthetic, cyborg, all of that.
I feel like Kid Cavalier could be more eccentric about how he is. Like I feel like he should be something like Lex Luthor was in Batman versus Superman. Like as much as I know that Jose, you hated this guy as Lex, I felt like he still had some like goofy liveliness about him, that was very jovial. And I feel like Kid Cavalier needs more of that besides just having his feet out. Like there's a little bit there, but I feel like there could be so much more, especially if he's supposed to be this Peter Pan type character. I feel like they could really amp it up a bit. And then that could really be juxtaposed to his brilliance that he supposedly has that we haven't truly seen yet. I feel like we're told that he's
Yeah.
brilliant and that he has all this money. I'm wondering, is the money just because his parents died? Or is it because like he truly is something special? And I'm not really seeing that yet. So that's it for like the human characters. I think the most special thing is the hybrids, honestly, because synths are still synthetics. They're whatever. Timothy Oliphant, he's doing a great job with what he's doing. Guy is always great in everything he's in. But the idea of the hybrids, I think, is something very special here. And it plays on the whole essence of what it is to be human and how do you keep your humanity, especially if you're being put into a synthetic body, but your brain is still there, supposedly. And I like the questions that it proposes as a viewer. So like I'm watching it and I'm thinking it's like, yeah, are you still human? It's like, are they actually just copies? Like, is their memory is being downloaded, and are they just simulating what their living being would have done in these situations? And I like that whole concept of that. I think that's really cool. I just wish the writing was stronger to really bring it home and make me feel it more. And I feel like they are thinking as heavily about it as they pretend they are. Because I'm not feeling like the writing is really supporting it that much, especially even like in how the characters play with it. I feel like they're kind of all over the place. And maybe that could be explained later on. I think there's a lot of room to maybe make it more forgivable. But right now, I feel like they're just kind of sometimes they're super juvenile, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're super mature for like what they're going through and this thing that they're proposing. But it's not making a lot of sense. I even put a question is like maybe they can explain it through their sexualities because it feels like the girls are being a lot more questionable towards things that happen. Whether it's the main character of Wendy really focusing on her family and her brother and holding on to that, or it could be the new girl of what's her freaking name? Squee pops in my head, but that's not accurate. But the one who pretty much wants to take Wendy's place.
Curly, was it?
Curly, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be Curly, yeah. And I like what she's doing, but it's like it's something that it's funny. She's very questionable. Like, how come she's your favorite? I've been learning, I've been upgrading, I've been improving myself, while the boys are just childish, and that could be
Yeah.
something with that, where like boys are immature and girls mature faster. Did the process make them mature faster because now they don't have the hormones? The idea of not having hormones and that being inhibited by the synthetic body and like they have to like kind of manually adjust that. I think there's really cool ideas there, and if they don't tackle any of that, if it doesn't get answered, then I feel like it's just a fun idea that's just thrown out there with no real rhyme or reason. And that's how I feel about that. And then there's cyborgs and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. They're whatever. I feel like there's some things that are just put in there. It's like, let's just put some things in there because we never had it before. And who's going to question it? Not the mega fans.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I like Kirsch, but I feel there's a bias in me just because I like Timothy Oliphant in general.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just do I like Kirsch or do I like Timothy Oliphant? Is that what's happening? Like in this
That's the
stage?
question.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, synthetic is what it is. With the hybrids right now. So I'm personally not connecting with them or like the
Mhm.
humans with them, but like you, I feel there's potential there, and I like some of the things that they're exploring with them, even if it's not connecting with me. With the fact that they have to use kids because kids' minds are more malleable. That's just scientific fact. Like they say, like if you're gonna teach kids multiple languages, try to do it like before they get to like 8 or 9, because like those early years is where they're able to take in more information and kind of shape like who they are. So, it fits with what we know. That's why they're able to use kids. They're not as rigid in their mind and development as adults are. So the good thing with it is, it's like, yes, it does seem erratic with the behaviors that we've seen with them, but it makes sense because they are they're still being molded. So there's going to be a little bit of an erraticness to it, considering their environment. They're not having a normal environment to develop in. And I do agree with you. I think the whole male female thing is also playing a difference, and the difference in development with them. So I am curious to see, because we're seeing them all react differently to the same similar stimuli. You know, you have like Curly, who seems to be put together. She's ambitious, she's driven, so she's handling very calm. But then you have well, what's her name? Like
Yeah, I
Nibble,
think
Nibs.
that sounds right.
And so she looks like she's about to have a breakdown. She is not handling this well at all. She's seeing things in there, whether they're old memories or not, but she's seeing things. Then you have like the two bros who are just like, we're here to hang out, like we're here to have fun, easily manipulated. So we're seeing uh probably seeing why hybrids are not in future movies and why they probably won't work
Yeah.
out. In general, the
Hmm.
human factor is inhibiting them. It's probably going to cause some of them to start questioning and be rebellious. It's going to cause some of them to get themselves killed because they're not mature enough. So we're kind of seeing the cracks in these prototypes. Because you got to remember, they're still prototypes.
Yeah.
So they are not finished products. Wendy is probably the closest thing, and she still has her own issues. So I'm kind of a wait and see when it comes to the hybrid. I see the potential. I like that they're exploring these different type of development aspects, but I haven't connected with any of them yet. And then with the cyborg, I like that they introduced cyborg because that's also introducing a old dilemma. You know, with the whole when is when is a machine just a machine, or you know that quote they had in there.
Yeah.
That the cyborg is a whole different level of that, because that is full on human, had a full human body that's had technology introduced into him. So unlike a synth, unlike a hybrid, he's coming from a different one where how much of his humanity does he still have left? Like he knows he should feel guilt, and we saw in the last episode over what happened on the ship, but so much of his humanity has been taken away. Like even though he understands he should, does he? Because he's still about his mission. So there's interesting elements that they're having with them. I just through 3 episodes, I haven't latched on to anyone where I'm like, yes, I'm going with you. Like I'm riding with you. I'm still riding with the Xenomorph right now.
Well, it's interesting what you just said about the cyborg guy and how he's so focused on his mission, but really it's not about the mission, it's about how he's hanging on to his humanity more than the so far it seems the hybrids can do. But then the hybrids are children, so you can't really say that yet. But what I mean is like it's not about the mission. It's like, hey, I wasted my whole life. Everyone I know is dead. And I'm not going to give up because you guys put me in the situation and I'm going to finish it. And that's like the real pride of a human being coming through. So that's not the machine part of him.
That's a good
That's a
point.
human part of
Yeah.
him.
It's like a soldier.
Um, yeah. Yeah, and like I sacrificed everything for this company and to do this mission. You're not going to tell me now that I can't do it anymore. So he seems the most human out of anybody in the show so far to me. He is the most human. He knows how to manipulate children. I was like watching episode 3, I'm like, wow, that's how easy it is for predators to manipulate children. And he's not a predator, but it just goes to show like how I don't think he's a predator. I think the boy genius guy is a predator, but he is showing like hey, just I'm your friend, blah blah blah, and like, and children are so easily manipulated to be like, I don't want to disappoint you. You have power over me. I'm scared of you. I'll do anything you want. So the children mind aspect to me is oh, interesting in theory. The hybrids are interesting to me, but I don't know. There's too many things in my head about the mind of a children in like an adult body that I just don't like. Um, I don't know. There's aspects of that I just don't like. But also with the amount of cyborgs and synths and hybrids and all the humans except for that one lady. Oh, I guess the brother too, being like shitty. Like I don't like anybody. There's like no stakes really yet. I don't care about anyone really yet. Even the brother sister relationship, there wasn't enough build there. Wasn't enough tension. There wasn't enough backstory. Even the reveal, like, hey, I'm your sister, and he's like, oh my god, are you? Yay! And then it was like, oh, well, that's it. It just kind of like I'm not connected to anybody yet. I don't care about anyone. They could all die, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, sure. I know it's only 3 episodes, but you could do a lot with even like one scene of a character to like really make you care about somebody. And I've seen shows where it's like episode one and you're already 100% fully invested in a character and you're like, if anything happens to this guy, I'm gonna freaking I'm gonna rage because they can make you love and care about a character that much in like one scene in the first episode, and I haven't felt that with anybody yet. And also going into battle and there being so many hybrids and synths and everything, I'm like, they'll be okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not like, I don't have this tension or fear or like, well, what's going to happen? Or I hope everyone like beats a xenomorph or anything. Like, I don't know. So far, there needs to be some sort of more drawn out scenes with characters to make you actually invested in them in general. For me personally.
And I can see that, and I feel that's where we're headed because now we've shrunk the world, for lack of a better term. Now, where we had the accident, we had the surgery and stuff. Now we're on this island, we're on the facility, and it's kind of like a reset of what we've seen so far. The xenomorph is down. Everything is captured. They're just everyone is chill, quote unquote. But we know a ball is going to drop at this point, and it's going to happen on that island, which is a more contained area. So I can see where we might get a little bit more of that tension or that slow play in that type of environment because we don't have an entire city scope or entire building scope where you have all these pieces in all different parts and you got to cover all of them. Now it's all the pieces in one place, more contained area. I feel there's a higher chance of getting a little bit more of that, like moving forward. I do hope we get more from the boy genius because he just seems generic as hell right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing about when
Yeah.
he's on screen. He does nothing for me. I'm like, all right, let's move it along. At this point, like you're not offering anything that other geniuses in other things have come through. It's just very, very, very generic. Um, One thing that is started to bug me a little bit in the last episode, a little bit is, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I thought it was cool at first, the whole Peter Pan thing and the symbolism with that. But now I feel like you're beating me over the head with the Peter Pan thing.
I felt that in episode one.
Yeah, it's like I was like, okay, we get it, and it was a good symbolism with these kids being kind of shepherded in, having to leave like their life for this new like world and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, cool, that yeah, I can see that. But it's like now you just keep referencing that, and then now I'm like, okay, you're beating at that horse there. Give us the audience some credit that we're intelligent
No.
enough to
Yeah.
continue to grasp that symbolism and move on from that.
I hate that when they
Uh,
treat audiences like you're stupid and they have to spell it out for you. Hey, wait, but did you get the Lost Boys reference? Just making sure. And it's like, okay, we can't we get it. I don't know if they're doing that for like maybe there's the younger generation of people have never seen Peter Pan, don't know anything about Peter Pan, so they have to like spell it out for everybody in case they don't know that that exists. But same. I was like, okay, yeah, we know. You don't need to tell us.
so
Yeah,
I got
sorry.
two things.
Yeah.
One, because you reminded me as you were talking about stuff, Marie, the human thing that bothered me in all 3 episodes. There's no sense of urgency for
No.
any of the
Or
humans.
dread.
Yeah, in
There's no
any
urgency or
scene
dread or nothing.
whatsoever.
No.
Like we think of the scene when the frickin' ship is coming towards the city and they're Marines or at least some kind of military crew, right? Military people are trained for these situations. And they see the ship and they're just like, oh, wow. A regular person I get. You're the regular party person in Independence Day and you're on top of the building. Oh, wow, a spaceship. This is not that. You're a Marine. You're a military person. You should be like, do call this person, do this, do that. The guy who's the medic who doesn't even want to be there, he's like, call it in. And even he's not that urgent about it. But like, there's no like self-preservation when it hits their building. Of like, oh shit, we're gonna die. Like none of that happens. The hermit himself, when he gets in contact with the alien, like actually, let's backtrack. Before he even sees the freaking alien, he knows that this code of 56, whatever bullcrap, all right, means alien threat. And he doesn't tell his two people who are with him, who he seems friendly with. He waits for one to go forward and he tells the dude, it's like, yo, this thing means alien. Oh, wow. Okay. And then that's it. It's like, whatever. Then he sees the alien. Big deal. He's like, oh, crap. He calls it in. But then afterwards, when he meets up with one of his dudes, he's like, did you see an animal? We mean like a pet? No, not like a pet. And then it's dropped. It's like, no, at that point, you're like, yo, dude, there's this giant alien creature that's out and about. It's massive. It's deadly. We got to be on alert. All right. Because you're a military guy. I'm with you. Make sure to shoot this thing when you see it. Doesn't say that. Let's just knock on some doors. And then you're telling me that this freaking party of French debutante cosplayers didn't feel a spaceship hit the building? They're just like, what's all that noise out there? All that noise? Someone's not freaking honking a horn outside. No, a spaceship hits your building, all right? And you're just like, whatever. And then the alien finally comes, and the guy doesn't shoot at it. You're a trained soldier. Your first thought shouldn't be like, oh shit. Now, granted, I get it. It's a monster. It's new. You hadn't seen it before. But you're still.
That's why you shoot.
Your training is to shoot first, ask questions later, usually. Like I just think back to the Marines back in Aliens, and granted, again, I know that they knew that they were going to fight xenomorphs. That's what they were there for. But they were so gung-ho to just kill things that's what I kind of wanted from these military dudes who had none of that. And I just felt like through as everything progressed, there was just none of that. There's none of this urgency of like, oh my God, what's happening? Like the kids had more urgency, but even they weren't like that worried about anything. I feel like
kids are scared, man.
Yeah, if the humans were more scared, if the humans were more scared, then it adds to the fact that the synths and cyborgs have nothing to fear. It's better to see that kind of thing. And then the second thing, so I don't forget this, when you talked about Kid Cavalier or Boy Cavalier, whatever, that moment of the Peter Pan thing, and he's like, hey, you want to see a magic trick? And then he snaps, and then you see a cartoon on a TV screen. It's like, your magic trick is a TV on a ceiling? I got that now. I got that. Like, I wanted him to do something actually cool, That was their chance to have him be something, right? Maybe he could have done a card trick, Ant-Man would have done a card trick, all right? Like, you tell me you can't have him do some kind of, like, magical ball thing where something actually happens that make her go, like, ooh, and then she goes to sleep? No, he just snaps and then this, and then she does the same thing. She's like, you want to see a magic trick? I can put a TV on with my snappy fingers. I got the clapper.
Clap on, clap off, the clapper.
Yeah, sorry.
They need to amp up him for sure right now because he's just wasting screen. Regarding the other things that you said, I do agree there with certain characters there needs to be a higher sense of urgency, especially once you see the shit go down. Regarding the Marines though, I saw, or I don't know if they call them Marines. I forget. I don't know.
They're
if
military
they
personnel. Yeah.
Them, I saw them as probably trained, but also inexperienced, never seen battle, just been in this high-tech city. Unlike the Marines that we like see in Aliens, which have been to battle, they've been in the shit, they know what they're getting into. I see these as just kind of more like trainees in there, so I can see the whole freezing in the middle of the moment and not like shooting your gun because you've never really been in combat or seen any of that aspect. So that didn't bug me too much because I can see it if they're again not experienced, never seen any combat, all they know is simulations or anything like that. Some people will thrive, some people don't. But if you're gonna have that moment, you should have at least like one gun-ho soldier that's just a loose cannon and it's just shooting into shadows or something to show that differential of some are gonna panic when the real thing comes in, some are not. So you should include that. The rich people thing, I kind of laughed. It's ridiculous, but I kind of in my head I saw it as like out of touch people. They're just like, oh, we're more concerned about what we're doing. Like, they're not even noticing what's happening outside because they're so in their own world. I saw it as those type of people, so it didn't bug me too much.
It's like fucking
Uh,
earthquake. Earthquake. The earthquake can wait. We're partying
yeah,
right now.
yeah. We're rich, they'll take care of that like aspect. Like that's how I saw it there because they came out like dressed in all this garb that's a long time ago for us. It's even longer for them. Like what the hell are they even doing like with this stuff? It was just yeah. So like I
Yeah.
didn't see. Go ahead, Marie.
I understood what they were trying to do in that scene, be it's about like, oh, like the upper class rich people, they don't give a shit about anything. But also, those are all people who are extremely narcissistic and self-centered that would want to live and want to protect their shit and be like, oh my God, like I just feel like I don't know, they put themselves first. Yes, they want to keep partying, but at the same time, they're like, the building's coming down. There's a thing. They'd be like, oh shit, I want to live because I have all my money and I have all. It was very like I don't know, something about the writing is like, yeah, I get what you're trying to do, but you're not doing it right or something. Like something is just
Yes.
like this isn't
Yes.
it's not right. And what did you say? You just said something about
I was talking
you're
about
talking about those guys.
the soldiers most likely being trainees,
Oh yeah,
not
yeah,
combat
right.
experience, never seeing action.
I understand, but have they seen movies before? Have they had has the world have
That's a
has the
different
world they live
story, seeing a
no, 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 no,
movie.
no, 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 no. According to Demolition Man, it ain't because Sandra Bullock was gung ho to go and kill the bad guys because she
Yeah.
saw movies. No, but are you living in a world that's never seen conflict? You're telling me that this world prior to now has never seen a conflict before and no one's ever gone to war and everyone in training has never been in danger?
Well, we don't know if
Because
during their lifetime in these company controlled regions, if everything is just very controlled and there hasn't been a war, because there could be some kind of treaty between, because this isn't governments running these are companies
well,
running it.
exactly, we don't know. But there's so much like we don't know, but it's like these people don't feel like human beings or it doesn't feel like it's clearly part of our world because they have TV, they have the world, they have everything that we see and gone through in history, they have. It's part of our world and our universe. So they would know some shit. They would know some shit. They have access
Possibly.
to it. Yeah, and
Possibly.
wouldn't the elites and stuff want some sort of really good military that could protect them, like really severely trained? And they're the ones who are like I said, they're the ones with all the money. They need all the protection. They're the narcissistic ones. They want the best trained effing military ever?
Well, there's always the human ability to get comfortable and stuff. And if they haven't seen conflict in a long time and stuff, people can go into comfort, and their priority might not be defense or pumping money into defense because they're like, we don't need it. And so
Comfort's a
I
luxury these people can't afford. There's
yeah.
too much at stake for these
I
big
don't I
we
multi-billion
say that,
corporations.
but we don't know, we don't know.
I, I say
It's
that for
not.
them.
Yeah, because
It,
again, this isn't government control, and governments are always going to be in conflict with each other. These are companies running it, so the way they handle
it's
with each
worse.
other,
That's worse.
no,
This is worse.
no, but they're more likely to cause damage through legal means, little back channel things, than a straight up war, which is going to require army and soldiers and things like that. They're more likely to be sneaky about it or try to do it through whatever laws and stuff that they have there, get advantage that way, or do something sneaky like purposely crash a ship into a city where you can say, oh, I don't know, that was an accident. They'll do more of that than a full out war where you might need fully like badass military training.
Unless you're in Demolition Man and it's the Taco Bell and McDonald's war. Um, no, but
uh
also that's another thing too. Also, that's another thing too. You are this billion-dollar company area, and you don't have anything monitoring the solar system or monitoring anything. They had no idea this crash was coming. It was just like they weren't like, oh, we have spaceships in the freaking universe, and no, there was no warning that this thing was going to crash into like their main area.
Oh, I got that. I got
Sorry.
that one.
Yes.
The
Okay.
answer to that
Sorry.
is with as advanced as this place is, like we're in the year 2120, correct? I believe.
Think so.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
think so
20
around
or
there.
2120. The only thing for entertainment you've seen we have is Peter Pan and Ice Age, all right? If that's the only thing we can watch,
Entangled, entangled,
we only reference
entangled.
baseball from like 100 years ago and 200 years ago. So there's not a lot actually going on. It looks advanced, but it's actually really set in the past.
Mhm.
That's why there was no warning of a spaceship coming to Earth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what the situation is in here, how controlled these regions are by their companies. What are they giving their people access to? Are they censoring things? Are they blocking things from the past, from history and stuff, because they don't want the people that live there to know about things that happened. There could be situations where they could be macromanaging everyone. Maybe they're only giving them access to the things they want them to have access to. Maybe they don't, these people are born at a different point where they don't know even what a government is or what some of the structures that we had like in the past. They know only what the company tells them. That's always a possibility in this world. So like we haven't seen what the lifestyle is of the typical citizen there or and stuff. We've just seen straight into the chaos and how they handle it in that building in that aspect. So there's always that possibility with the company control that everything is controlled, including what's being disseminated to them.
George, look like you're gonna
I,
say something before I
oh,
want
oh
you.
no, no. Yes, I am thinking of what Jose's saying and how it's all based on what ifs.
What if there's a lot of maybes
Well,
Yeah,
here? There's a lot of
yeah.
I
maybes.
mean, what you said is also what ifs because we don't know exactly like what the status of it is.
I mean, it's a what if, but at the same time, it's based off of the information that's given to me within the show. So I gotta base it off of what they've shown with other things that coincide with it. You know what I mean? So like me presuming that they have experience with military things and being a military like unit is also based on the fact that they're grounding it in realities that we're familiar with. Like I reference the stupid cartoons. That's for us to be familiar of like, oh, I grew up with that. So that I feel like they were a part of my lifetime and my lineage. Like I feel connected to them. So in turn, when I see a military person, what do did you mention, Jose? People get comfortable, they don't know what war is like. We haven't had a real war since World War II. We can't really count the Vietnam War as something that was really massive. It didn't really affect the world in a big way. Even 9/11 wasn't as huge as let's say a World War II. So we've been living kind of cushy for a while. But you know what? If some alien threat hit us or if a ship went to crash on us, like we were notified about the two towers in school. We saw it in our classroom. So the fact that this wasn't a bigger thing, like she just said, there should have been more notifications. But like I said, I'm connecting it with things that I'm used to because you're showing me things that I should be familiar with. It's making me think of familiar things. So that's
But
why
it's
I'm
also
having those thoughts.
it's also kind of an assumption. Did you see military training in the episodes? Did you see them battle? Did you see experience? No, you're assuming
I mean,
they
I didn't
have
see the Marines
I,
experience.
train in aliens, but we knew that they were Marines.
I would assume that any military training would have military training, especially if they're living in our world. And it's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't assume like a bunch of like 20-year-olds like what like oh
Even
like I don't
even a
know.
private contractor has training. We just assume that. We don't see it, but we know they had
We sh
training.
But
we
again,
should assume.
it is an assumption, and we don't know their experience base. Just because you run simulations on flying a plane on the computer doesn't mean you're gonna get on a plane like right away and you're gonna be able to handle it perfectly. Experience like matters. We don't know what their level of experience is. They might just be trainees.
Uh,
Yeah, I think there's
it
just that
feels
That's
for
hope
all.
that
it
That's all I'm
feels
military.
saying.
forgiving. It
Yeah,
feels very forgiving though.
yeah,
It feels
and
it
Jose
feels
is very forgiving and such a
yeah.
sweet man. But I'm just like, yo, if you're part of the military, you signed up, you're trained, you should be better. You're the ones protecting everything.
Should
Like
be,
they
but that's
gotta
not
they
that's not
that should be.
guaranteed.
As
But
a
that's not
viewer, I need to
guaranteed.
see this. As a viewer,
It,
I need to believe, and I'm not believing. There's no believability if I have to assume that they're shitty. You know what I mean? Okay, no, I just assuming that they're shitty. It's like, no, I want to believe that. I want to believe what I'm seeing. I want to feel it, and you don't. It's like, how? Why am I supposed to feel a threat if the actual military in this show doesn't feel that it's a threat? Why am I afraid? Isn't Alien kind of like a horror action? Why is it not like why if they're not scared, why should I be? If they don't care, why should I care? That's how I'm feeling watching it.
I mean, they looked
That's
a little
all.
scared when they came across the xenomorph. They
I
weren't.
love you, Jose, so
They weren't
much. Like I just
exactly
I
like.
love you.
They weren't exactly
Fuck so
laughing like,
much.
"Hey, look at this thing that's about to kill me." They looked pretty afraid in the moment. And then yes, George, we have not been in the war in a long time, but how many times have we been on the brink or in conflict where we have to keep our guard up because it seems like every other presidency or something, we're getting close to World War III. So you have to keep your guard up. But I'm sure if there's no conflict for 100 years or more than 100 years or something like that, for a government's probably not going to pump as many resources into defense, into soldiers. They'll still have an army and stuff, but you might end up like Australia, who isn't a threat to anyone. But if shit goes down, I'm not sure how much Australia is actually going to do if they're going to, because they don't have to worry as much as a country like ours, who's always in conflict with someone. So again, we don't know those details. We can assume either way, but in the end, it's all assumptions because we don't know what was happening before this started. We don't know how comfortable they are. We don't know how much the company is controlling. Have they had wars? Has everything just been corporate? How long has it been corporate for? 50 years, 70 years, 100 years? When did governments collapse? We don't know any of that information. So everything is assumption.
I mean, I feel like we got to move on, but we do actually know some of those answers if we're Aliens fans. If you're just watching this show and you've never seen Aliens before, then you don't know. I agree. But we're all talking as people who are Aliens fans.
Yeah.
So we do have an idea of those answers. So that's why me and Maria are so hard pressed about some of this. It's like we can't be that figuring because we do know that certain things are in effect. We do know that there's certain things that have happened in the past because of other things.
I feel like you're choosing an assume side and eliminating the possibility of the other side. But
I'm thinking about the movies. I'm thinking about the movies.
I think
That's
about the
all.
movies.
I'm thinking about the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
all the movies in
Yeah.
space, not on Earth.
They came from Earth. They're Earthlings. They're yeah,
Let's,
you have other questions, Jose. What are the other questions that you have for us?
Yeah, I'm on my own here. I feel like Jon Snow. This is Romulus all over again. I'm just trying to defend everything. Where do you guys think we're heading with the series after the first 3 episodes and what has happened and where the story's gone so far? Where do you think we're heading? We got what, 5 episodes left?
Yeah.
So more than half the season to tell the rest of the story.
There's going to be obviously some conflict between the hybrids and themselves mentally. Like you say, they're going to become more self-aware and start questioning. There's going to be the cyborg trying to do his stuff and manipulating the hybrids, trying to get like their help. We're going to see what these other aliens can do, I guess. Something's happening with Wendy and her frequency and the hearing of the xenomorphs, and I guess that's going to be like a weakness because if the xenomorphs are like screeching and in pain, or is she going to start being sentimental towards the xenomorphs because she can kind of like feel the pain through the frequencies, or is she not going to be able to fight as well because when they're screaming and shrieking, she's not going to be able to control herself. There's a lot of stuff that's coming. I don't know. I don't know. It's there's a lot of episodes left. We'll see what happens. The conflicts between the companies,
What
all
about you, George?
conflicts internally and externally.
I think big picture, because the show does go against a lot of, I mean, a chunk of lore that we already know from the series. And so big thing is that island probably gets blown up. I can see that island self-destructing, getting nuked, to contain it. Something like that could easily happen because otherwise, we in the future we would have some kind of historical thing saying like, oh yeah, aliens took over Earth. And that's why we're on these other planets, or they took over Earth. And that's why Weyland-Yutani is trying to like figure out things about them. But there's none of that. So it has to get contained, otherwise it just ruins everything that we would know so thus far. The same thing with the inclusion of cyborgs and hybrids, which weren't really ever shown in past things. The hybrids are obviously a very new thing. I could imagine one hybrid surviving though, one or maybe
Mhm.
two, but like I could see like something like that happening where like they escape because they have to, and maybe that gets connected to like a Predator movie later on. I could see something like that happening. I also imagine because Joe is in like a coma now, I could see Wendy trying to put him into a synthetic body to try to save him
Mm-hmm.
because they're very
Mm-hmm.
adamant about her saying that line to Kirsch about I'm going to save him. Like he's not going to die. And so I could see her trying to do that, and the fact that there is that whole thing where adults aren't able to get transferred over, he could be that experiment for her to try to push that through.
Or
So
for the boy genius guy to try, see if that
him
will do
too,
it.
yeah,
Just to
for sure. Because they
keep,
already took
yeah.
his lung. They took his lung out and they used that as a test subject for
Hmm.
the frickin' the egg or whatever. So yeah, I could see something like that going down. I think I could see him containing this.
Which, by the way, since you brought that up, I thought that was cool and different, something we haven't seen before when they, dissected it and we get the little tadpole
Yes, that
out
cool check mark. Yes.
in there, and I'm sure without his permission, using his lung, we might
Hmm.
we might get a whole different look of the creation of the chess stir in there while they're observing that. And of course, it's all going to
Hmm.
go wrong. They're going to get
Hmm.
out. We're going to get more xenomorphs. The other creatures are going to get out. The
Hmm.
cyborg's going to make it in there. It's going to be a war on that island. By the end of it, I see this kind of one being the collapse of Prodigy. I think Prodigy gets wiped
Yeah,
out
yeah.
completely. Whether it's everything has to be nuked by Wayland to wipe out everything, or some kind of self-destruct or something. But Prodigy gets over. Wayland ends up without a sample, with no eggs, no nothing, which is probably why they then divert
To
and,
to
and
part
cause the
one.
Nostromo, yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
to go get more
Hmm.
because they're like, shit, we lost it, go get more, but don't tell them anything. So at least now we know they knew about it beforehand. They just kind of, keep it away, which it was theorized for so long, but it's like, now we know. Um, so I see that happening, Wayland getting more power because one more company kind of being like off of the books.
Well, I
So
will add
in
to that. I don't know if you guys have been looking at the background shit that's been happening, but like the
like the
Prodigy wasn't
news,
yeah, there's like little articles that if you pause
yeah,
it you can get to read stuff. Prodigy wasn't always around.
no, they're
And
Hmm.
and
newer,
and
they're up
Wayland
and
U
coming.
and Wayland Yutani was
Hmm.
against them merging with it with the entities that were in charge. So it would be definitely be a big thing in there, like behooved to like get rid of Prodigy.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure it was a Wayland directive to Mother to crash the ship into Prodigy, and I think
Mm,
that whole phone call was just for show, knowing they were going to be told no, you can't come in here, and all that stuff.
yeah.
That was just for show. Crash it into there, cause chaos for as a power move because I think they want them. They probably see Prodigy as a threat, knowing that they're working on something that might be a threat to what they do. So I see that. So I see the end of Prodigy. I see the end of the species. And at the end, whether it's season 2 or season 3, kind of leading into the beginning of Alien. Overall, my personal thoughts, and we'll get everyone's like ratings so far for the show. We're 3 episodes in. I'm at about a 7.5 right now for the show because I feel it's given me enough through 3 episodes for me to come back to. It's given me enough good moments. I like how they're handling the xenomorph. There is room for improvement, mainly on the non-alien aspect of it and the human aspect of it. But there's strings there that they can pull to improve those aspects. But the main things I wanted them to nail, which was the xenomorph, so far they're doing a good job of getting there and doing that aspect. I feel things are going to change up now that we're again shrinking the world to this island, but we'll see where it goes. Where do you guys lie on your ratings and just overall thought right now?
I was at a 6 with the first 2 episodes. Now to episode 3, I am at a 6. Nothing has actually really changed for me on that. I think I still need more, honestly. I agree. There's still lots of room for this thing to grow. And in all fairness, I've seen other shows that had poorer starts and blossomed into something amazing. So I think there's still a lot of room to grow. I want the Xenomorph to have more direction though. It's I don't like how it's too coincidentally selective with its characters that it decides to mutilate or not mutilate. And yeah, if that can get more fine-tuned, that would be nice. Especially as
Explain.
explain. It had the opportunity to kill Morrow and uh Hermit. And granted, I understand it used Hermit as a trap and was going to use him to like create more xenomorphs, which is what they do. That is what they should be doing.
Mhm.
But it was just like he could have killed them easily in the hallway with the soldier and with other things. Like with certain ones, it takes time, and then with other ones, it's super quick. And even just the way they display dead bodies was annoying to me. But that's a whole other problem. But it's like it just like Morrow. Why didn't he kill Morrow?
That,
You
that
know?
I felt is because he's so much more like machine, and they kind of got into
But
how
xenomorphs kill synthetics, so it's just like,
Mhm.
but not always. They have killed synthetics, but we've also seen in the movies where synthetics have just kind of roamed and not gotten killed and been able to avoid for long periods of time. But then there's been times where it's like, okay, I've had enough of you, and they've killed synthetics, but they don't always kill the synthetics, at least from what we've seen from the movies so far. They're not as cannon fodder as the humans tend to be and the organics tend to be.
but do you think Morrow should have been left alone? I mean, like, Morrow shot
I
the alien. He proved he was a threat to the alien. He captured it. Like, Morrow should have been the first one he took out once he got out of that cocoon. Instead, it killed all those Marines and left him alone. So, like, I don't know, call them Marines, and they're probably not Marines, but still, like, the soldiers. Like, it was just too convenient.
I think
You
that
know what I
fear
mean?
aspect is what kind of jumps into it. I mean, I get it. If we would have taken them out, I would have been fine with it too. But I think they're driving in the whole fact like fear does attract it. Like it kind of like any a lot of predators that we know, not the predator. A lot of
Yeah,
predators
yeah.
where the fear kind of makes you a target. And with Morrow being less, probably more machine than he is human, he probably doesn't have that for the alien to sense. That was my thought process during that because it seems like he's avoided killing anything that wasn't fully organic or human, except for the brother.
Yeah, the brother seems to be the only one suitable for keeping around. Yeah,
What do you mean?
it's conveniences. It's just
Okay. I rate it like a 5, I'd say, because I don't hate it, but I don't love it in any by any means. The music is really getting to me.
oh
I do
yes,
not want rock music in an alien anything. Hearing a electric guitar solo and looking at a xenomorph feels wrong. There's something in my brain that couldn't put that together. That whole scene where they're walking the dead xenomorph in, and there's this epic electric guitar solo. I was like, oh, this doesn't match. It's wrinkling my brain. I don't like the music. I know they're trying to be like rock star cool, even with the logo for like the Prodigies, like this like punk rock teddy bear with a chain. I'm like, this is so lame. Like this is who would trust this company?
Jen was like, "What the fuck is happening?" She's tuned out. She was checked out in episode 1, but when that happened, she was just like, "What the fuck is this?
What the
What
fuck's
are you
that?
watching the
Yeah,
same
what
show?" She was,
watching that there's way too much tonal differences between all the alien movies put together and this show for me. there's some alien movies like I don't like as much, or maybe they're more silly, or maybe they're more sexual, or maybe they're whatever. But at the same time, they had like a certain vibe. There's like a certain ambiance into it that I'm like, okay, this still feels like it could be within the same universe. And to me, this doesn't feel like the same universe, even just writing wise. And the way it's shot sometimes, the editing, the script. There's just some stuff where I'm just like, this doesn't feel like Alien to me very much. Yeah, there's some like callbacks. Hey, cool. Yeah, some fan service. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But then as a whole, there's something about it that I just cannot tie in my brain to the Alien franchise at all. This show is actually Alien Romulus. The first like third or half, especially, I thought was I loved it. I actually loved that. But then the last act made it fall apart to me. This show is making me be like, wow, Alien Romulus was a fucking masterpiece. Like a masterpiece in comparison. I'm like, at least it felt in the same world. At least it felt, I don't know. So there's just some writing choices where I'm like, oh, it feels like it was written by like 17-year-olds. Like there's something like really young, and I get it. There's like there's like the older people like us who've seen Alien for years and the franchise for years were like there's certain things that we expect maybe, and there's people coming in watching it who've never seen the franchise maybe, and they're trying to appeal to like the whole audience. But I don't know, just when we were doing our group chat and Daniel said, well, at least we're getting more alien stuff. And I'm just thinking, you know what? I love steak, okay? Like I love steak. Steak's like my favorite. Go to a restaurant, get a steak. But if I go somewhere and I order a steak and it's served to me and the seasoning's wrong and it's bland and it's like overcooked, I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what? I don't like this steak. I don't like this. Just because I like steak doesn't mean I want shitty steak. I won't like, I'm not gonna enjoy steak that doesn't taste like the steak I like. And this is all, again, personal preference. That's what all art is. Everyone likes different things, different strokes for different folks. Um, and I know, like, yeah, I could be entertained watching a show, but we live in such a world that there's this overabundance of entertainment. You have entertainment in your hand all goddamn day. So when I sit down and the kids are in bed and we have done work and I have like an hour to myself to be entertained, I want to feel like I'm putting that to good use. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's like an entertainment that I haven't seen anywhere. That's entertainment that's making me feel something. That's entertainment that's like also staying true to a property that I respect greatly. And when I'm just like, what the fuck is this piece of overcooked, unseasoned steak? I'm just like, I just don't like it. So I'm like, I'm kind of like, I'm judging it off 3 episodes at the same time. Like I said, there's other shows I've watched where it's like, hey, first episode, I'm in, I'm invested. I love these characters, or I hate these characters, and I'm feeling it. And I know it's early and maybe it will be great, but right now I'm at a 5. I have no urgency to watch it, just like the military had no urgency to anything in the show. I'm just like, eh, take it or leave it. If I never watch an episode again, I wouldn't care. I'll put it that way. Sorry, I'm like shaking.
I realized this made you so
Heart-
angry.
My heart rate is at 103 right
The
now.
5 seems too high in comparison to the rant. Like your rant was as this is a 2, but you gave it a 5.
Well,
Honestly,
I
it had me
think it
rethinking my 6.
Yeah.
well, the thing is like I don't hate it. And if I really hate something, then it'll be like a 2, but I don't hate it, but I'm just like it's not I think a lot of the ratings and like Rotten Tomatoes are like not true. I just don't see how it's not a masterpiece like by any goddamn means. It's not a masterpiece. I think people too are being really gracious with it because when you love a series this much, you want to like everything that comes out. Like you like, how can I not like something that is like a part of my being and like my genetic makeup? And so it's like, yeah, no, we're more forgiving, but I'm past
Easy.
that. Like
Alien
I'm
Covenant.
well, yeah, like that. But that's the thing. Like, and I guess maybe people can be like, well, Alien Resurrection's a piece of shit. Well, to me, it's a good steak, but it just has a little bit of a different seasoning I haven't like tasted before. It's like, but here's like this one smothered in like goat cheese or like and charred with like this like like a sauce. And I know it's not a great movie, but to me, I'm like, hey, I loved it, but I'm not liking. No, I'm not liking the show. But to each their own.
It's
It's
more of a
not doing it for
disappointment.
me.
That's what it is. It's not bad, but we're disappointed in because of the possibilities, right? At least that's how it is
Well,
for me.
yeah, like I am disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I wanted more, but I know that if I want to love everything, right? But if I don't, I'm like, it's okay to not like things. But it's just it doesn't have enough like you say, the urgency and the dread and the tension and the darkness. It's not gritty really. It's just kind of like it does feel kind of CW maybe. There's something it feels there's like a cheapness or something that's like there. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like
The
I
dialogue
don't
could
know.
be like that sometimes, yeah.
Oh yeah. My dad always threw the first pancake out. Okay. It's a random thing to say.
It
I
made
understood why
sense.
she said
Yeah.
it. It made sense, but I was just like, it could have been like a little more eloquent or something. I don't know. I don't know. I understand she's a kid, I guess. That's another thing that's hard. I like the idea of like the kids' minds in the adult bodies, but it's also kind of doing the whole electric guitar seeing a xenomorph thing in my brain, where it's like it's not matching. I understand why you're doing it, but something about it isn't working right. I don't know. Sorry, Jose.
I know. Poor Jose's like, it's a fucking good show. It's a good.
I like it, and I like it. I like
uh,
that Jose likes it, and
It's
I
all
love
right.
Jose's
I'm
brain and
outnumbered
the way it
again.
works. It's
That's
okay.
great.
I love the way you see things, and I also
yeah.
love talking to you about things because you also when I hated Sinners, you've also like explained it in such a way, and I was like, yeah, I can see why you like it when you explain it like that. I don't like it, but I can see why you do, and I love your brain like that.
Bless your heart, Jose.
Bless your heart. It is so pure.
Yeah. Well, we got 5 episodes to go. Now you all see where we all are in the spectrum. I know Dan's not part of this episode. He's closer to my side of the
He's here in
spectrum.
spirit.
So this is kind of where we all stand on this. You guys let us know in the comments what you think of it, where you stand. What do you think of the first 3 episodes? Are you looking forward to the rest? What do you want to see? What have you not liked? But I want to thank you all for joining us for this bonus NASS episode. If you did enjoy this episode and want to catch some of our previous ones as well as future episodes, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you're alerted when we do drop a new episode in the future. Now, we covered, some of the first 3 episodes here, but we're going to be covering each episode individually as we kind of move forward. So then we'll be able to dive a little deeper into the episodes themselves. This was more of a overview of what we've gotten so far. So we'll be taking deeper dives on future episodes. So again, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification button so you can catch those. If you didn't enjoy this episode, well, maybe some of the other ones will do the trick and you might enjoy some of those. You can find our show on YouTube, Spotify, wherever else podcasts are found. And, if you do love our amazing personalities or just want to hate watch us, you can find us at Not a Strong Star on all major social platforms. Me individually, you can find me at This Is Mi Nombre on Instagram.
You can follow me at Nicolopoulos.
You can follow me at Marie Plays It All.
And as always, we might not always have a strong start, but we guarantee to sometimes maybe have possibly a strong finish like this show will have. Until next time.